Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, YouTube, everywhere there's going to be a clip of this going live. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. Let me get this flipped around before people start yelling at me that, hey, you got that flip, you're not the right way, which is cool that they do that. But don't want to hear them grab already early in the morning. So, today's topic is, did anything happen to you today? Or not today, but did anything happen to you, you know, on Halloween? This was just last night. We were trying to watch a movie, Hell House LLC, and everybody that was here was, well, that was interesting. We all fell asleep on it. I saw the score for it, which was a 25% score. And it was just like, oh, great. And it was a slow burn, slow build. And we're going to have to go back and watch it because we all fell asleep on it. But that was quite interesting. I just heard a sound over here that sounded like board on board squeaking, and that's on my wall. And ain't nothing can fit in between that wall. So we're still getting some spooktacular happening right now, right here. So, welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. And what we do here is we talk about horror movies, sci-fi movies, comic books, comic book artwork, my comic books, my comic book artwork. We occasionally do some box breaks, but we don't do like everybody else where you're paying to get the box breaks because I usually end up keeping 90% of what I break anyway, so and give a couple pieces away, you know, to friends. But anyway, we have some fun around, yeah. So if you're into having fun, stick around and talk with us about, did anything happen on your spooky time last night? Hello, Casey. Welcome to the broadcast booth. Do you have your coffee in hand? Like I do, right here. Bum, bum, bum. The coffee of champions. Peach mango, V8 energy drink, all natural energy, instead of the chemicals that come from Red Bull, Monster, Ghost, all those other nasty drinks out there. Awesome. Congratulations. I know you'll be running to poop later because that's what coffee does. It makes you poop. Anything happen last night, buddy? On your spooky season time? Anything exciting? Not me. Hello. Hello, Audrey. Welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm sorry you are awake this morning. And she dealt with the animals this morning. I didn't hear them. I felt her get out of bed the second time, I guess. Just slept. Okay, awesome. I slept a little bit. I slept pretty good, I guess. Harder than normal. I'm not as groggy tired. The day before, on All Hallows Eve, the night before, I took a bunch of allergy medicines because allergies were kicking my ass that day. And yes, and uh, and so I was a zombie. Apparently, I was dreaming some good dreams, according to her. I don't remember any of them, but she said it was a goodie. Well, yeah, but I still didn't feel like I rested because I was super groggy that day for Halloween, the morning of. And then, like I said, we were watching Hill House or Hell House LLC. Um, what is it, Legacy or something like that? Anyway, I was having a spicy dream. And so we were watching that last night with her sister and her boyfriend, and we all ended up falling asleep on it. And so I don't know if it was a good movie or a bad movie. And don't forget to like, share, and follow. If you don't mind, please. That brings us more viewers. And the more likes we get, that puts us in the popular realm with the popular kids. What's that stupid song? Something about cool kids? I don't know. Anyway, but we don't care about that. We care about the horror. We care about the artwork. We care about, the people that do show up on the live and want to contribute by talking here. And it's not about the likes, but, that does help us out. Um, let's see. My stepdad was hospitalized again. They're keeping him overnight, which I didn't tell you about, Audrey, because we were with your sister and stuff like that. Well, that phone call was my mother. They're keeping him again because he went from, a decent heart rhythm to it dropped down to like 25% or something like that in something or other. And so they were making sure that he doesn't have another blockage somewhere. So that's what's going on there. And so they're keeping him again, but they also want to get him into physical therapy, which I don't see helping that much. But anyway, because and I say and why I say that is because he's gone through this many times before. Okay, he's had quadruple bypasses. He's had a stroke. He's had multiple heart attacks, and he's got X amount of blockages. Like they whenever they did the surgery and put more stents in, they found that he had like 92% blockage in one leg and 80 something percent blockage in the other. You know, and now his I'm pretty sure it was his heart rate dropped down to a specific percentage. And they were like, well, we're going to keep him to make sure that he doesn't have any more blockages and all that good stuff. And so, excuse me. We're waiting and seeing on that. But that movie was pretty boring. Even Audrey said it was pretty stupid. So I'm glad we didn't go to the theaters to see it or pay money to see it because it was on AMC Plus for free. Since she has a subscription, well, it's not for free because she's got the subscription to Apple TV. And so much appreciated for the likes and the gifts out there. That's always fun. And but yeah, so we're gonna have to revisit that one and watch it again uh, when we're fully awake because we did not last on that movie. We might have probably should have picked a different movie after I saw the score, but I didn't realize it until you know we were hitting play that it was going to be that slow death crawl of a burn. Um, but did anything happen to anybody spooky wise that is watching right now? Casey, did you have any spectacular events? Did you pass candy out to kids, or did you just eat all the candy yourself? We didn't pass any candy out. We do have some jack o' lanterns out there uh, that we didn't light up last night, but those jacky lanterns will be going to the birds and the pigs and the dogs who will chew on it too because it's good. Oh, Casey slept. Good job, man. I, when did you start your sleep process? Before the trick or treaters at about 5 o'clock, or was it much later? Some people are like, no, forget this. I'm going to bed early, so I don't have to deal with the kids, turning off the porch light, all that good stuff. As far as I know, we didn't have anybody on our block, and we never do. So, or I haven't in the past. Does throwing eggs to the chickens? Well, yes. That those are the kids, so they got their little treats, and they got bread too. So they got a good Halloween candy haul. Last yesterday. So yeah. We periodically have to throw out eggs because we don't get rid of eggs fast enough. So, and you slept a lot yesterday, didn't? Let me read what that says right there. Didn't see any trick or treaters. Okay. Well, I mean that's admirable because I mean if you're sleeping and you're not seeing them, then that's how it goes on that note. But yeah, no, it's that little sound that I just heard was the first one I'd heard in a couple days, as far as a strange noise coming from the office. So, which was board on board action, which it could be because it's colder outside. I don't know the actual temperature outside right now because I'm not seeing it listed anywhere here like normal. Normally, my computer is running a little temperature outside, and I guess I just need to bring the one from the front room and bring it in here, put it in my windowsill with my Sasquatches and spooky stuff. Um, but yeah, no, it's very strange to not have a bunch of activity, especially when you break out the Ouija board, the tarot decks. Oh, it's 49 degrees. Thank you, dear. The tarot decks and your. I haven't shown you guys, and I apologize because I've got a spooky pig. It's Franken pig that I picked up from Tractor Supply because they had their Halloween decor at 75% off. And since we're homesteaders, she got herself a Halloween pig and a Halloween. Well, it was two Halloween pigs. One looks like a skeleton, and the other one is the little demon pig that's got bat wings and all that stuff. She's gonna actually bring me the other one since she's here in the house with me. It's not things that go bump in the night, but we do have a Halloween pig, Franken pig, and she got her some stuff that because it was 75% off. So why not? So instead of it being like $30 or $20 or whatever it was only like $7, or $5. And she's bringing it to me right now. So we had all that set up on the coffee table, which is a chest that her brother, I think, made. Did your brother make that?
What?
That chest.
No.
Oh, okay.
The one that got all this stuff on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's Audrey right there. Oh, okay. So that was a different deal. But here's Frankenpig. There's Audrey right there. Here's Frankenpig right here. We're gonna turn him on for you. I'm sorry I didn't show him to you earlier. Thank you, dear. He gets very loud. He reminds me a little bit of Freddy Krueger too. And speaking of which, Freddy Krueger did get his star on the Walk of Fame last night, and he Freddy Krueger right there. Robert England did a big speech, thanking everybody, especially the roommates that he had, in the beginning that created or that went on to make uh, Lost Boys in his speech, and told how they were very instrumental in the beginning of him in Hollywood. Because they helped pay his rent, all this stuff, and we're gonna set him out right here so you guys can look at him while we're speaking about him because he is generationally one of my favorite actors all the way around. Um, from the stuff that he was in the small screen before and on the TV series V. Very, very cool dude all the way around, in my opinion. Um, just a great actor. Oh, I'm going to have to glue that down, like I said many times before. Just a great generational actor all the way around. If you don't like Freddy Krueger or Robert Englund, I'm sorry. You guys suck then if you don't. But, that's my opinion. There we go. Um, but no, he got his star on the Walk of Fame, and it's well overdue. Just because he has been in so many movies. Yes, he's been in a lot of crappy horror movies. Um, after, of course, Nightmare on Elm Street. He was in the TV series V, if you remember that one. Great TV series. I loved it. He was an awkward, trying to help humankind alien. So, but very, very well versed actor all the way around. And yes, again, he played some campy characters throughout his career, but he's also played a ton of great roles as well. And it is just one of those things that it's why did it take so long, to get his name into the Walk of Fame, you know, and why does it take him forever, when an actor is about to, as is at the end of their life to get their star, you know, and I understand that some they give their stars because they passed away. Let's put their name on the Walk of Fame. I understand that. But his speech was I'm going to listen to the whole thing. I haven't listened to all of it yet. Um, but tons of great photographs, tons of great interviews with him, for his star on the Walk of Fame. So if you haven't heard it, I did repost it out there, and I'm actually downloading the clip right now if it hasn't already downloaded. But a very well versed actor, very, in my opinion, a good dude. I don't know him personally, so I don't know all of his struggles or controversies through life. And there's people that just don't like him just because of what he portrays. You know, 2001 Maniacs was awesome, and he was yes, 100%. But like I said, tons of great roles for him that he has been in, and like I said, starting with where I remember him from first, which was V, and I saw another thing of his prior to V, um, but I'm trying to think of what it was right off the top of my head. But he's such a well versed actor. I mean, all the way around. And his is the autograph that I want to get. I do not have his autograph yet, but that is one that I want to get. And I've been looking at some of his autographs, and to get it on the glove where I really want it, that's a little pricey. So that's the one that I want. You know, I gotta pull this key up. I don't know why, but I gotta clean my keys. Come on, little fella. Come on, little fella. There we go. Back that out. Let's see what credits also that he has out there. If my computer will actually do what it's supposed to do on this generation of side of things. Robert B. England, American actor and director. Jeez Louise, dude, you're running like swamp water. What the hell? You should not be running this slow. You're directly plugged into the source. 78 years old, born in 47, and still going strong. So that's the cool part. Is that some of these actors out there that are in their 70s act and look like they're in their 70s. He doesn't. So, you know, Wishmaster was a good one. Yeah, like she said, 2001 Maniacs was a good one. Urban Legends, where he was a professor. I know Heather Langenkamp uh, has nothing but good to say about him, and loves to be at conventions with him. So that's a plus on that note. And you don't get a lot of actors and actresses that can say they still enjoy each other's company, you know, because you get those that are like, no, he was a total ass or he was a total dick, on set, and I couldn't stand him, and I don't ever want to be around him again, you know. But she has nothing good but good to say about him. So, God, why are you running so damn slow? Come on. That's cool. He's won 7 different awards. He's been a total of 9 different total nominations, but he's won 7 of the 9, so that's not a bad record. So, did anything spooky happen to you guys during Halloween? Bumps, creaks, ghosts, goblins, anything you saw? Or did you get on a seesaw? But no, seriously. I mean, if you did have anything, he's been in 75 feature films. That's an testament. 78 years old, and you've been in 75 feature films. And if this would run right, I could tell you more. But no, he's been one of my favorite actors that has come on the scene, you know, uh, for many many years down the road, and you're gonna try to get back to sleep as you should. Please do, and maybe my computer will wake up at some point in time. So if you count all of his movies and TV series together, he has one more acting credit than he does years on this earth because he's been in 4 TV series. So there you go. And at a total of 79, and he's 78 years old. So there you go on that. So, did anything spectacular happen to you? Just like Robert Englund got his star on the Walk of Fame yesterday afternoon during Halloween time. Oh, excuse me. But we're talking about Robert Englund, Mr. Freddy Krueger, right here. This one is up for grabs, just FYI. It does glow in the dark. It is a painting I did. It is on an 8x10. And I'm going to probably add a couple of elements to it, touch it up just a little bit, because it is outdated from 2019, as you can see right down here. Right there, 2019. When I did a whole bunch of paintings all at once, including Elvirus, Mistress of the Dark, right there, and Bela Lugosi, right there. And this one glows in the dark as well. You can pick up any of those at a discounted rate. But again, I'm going to add elements to these uh, and get them redone for this generation. But I'm done with trying to pull up the information because it's running like pond water, and I'm done with it. So there you go. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I throw in the gauntlet. I tell you. Let's see. Anybody popping up over here? No, because I didn't tag anybody over there this time. So, Casey, what did you do yesterday besides slept? Did you You get out there and enjoy some of that Maine air. For those of you that missed it, we had Frank and Pig grace our presence in here. He's a fun little guy. He's noisy as all get out, just like a real pig. Just like our two pigs that we have. They're very noisy. Waiting to see if the raccoons or the possums are going to show up outside as well, like they did the last time we were on live. But that was closer to the end of the day as they're getting ready to go hibernate for the morning time, for the day before they go out and do their nocturnal thing. We also did some, also had, and what else did we have? I think that was it. Potato flake chicken, 4-cheese pasta, and some corn. I can't remember what all she put in the corn, but she does this little sauce to go over the corn, and you mix it all together. Indian fry bread, very cool, and beans, very cool. She loves to do her Indian fry bread, but she has to use her Bluebird flour from Arizona, and that's the only place you can get it. You can order it online, but it's super expensive to get it shipped to you, or even to order it online. So it's just better to go to Arizona and pick it up. So there you go, Indian fry bread, very cool, very cool. Love it, love it, man, love it. Let's see here. So yeah, we probably should have picked a different horror movie last night. Something that would probably have been a little more quick to the gore, I guess, or whatever. Just because Hell House LLC Legacy, I believe is what it's called. Uh, That was a slow burn. Um, it's one of those that probably shouldn't have been made. If we just want to be real. Um, the other Hell House LLCs have been pretty good. This one, I should have, made a better mention. You know, oh look, it's only got a 25% score. We should watch something else, but I didn't. I didn't push hard enough on that venture because we heard it was a decent movie, but you know, you hear things that say it's a decent movie, but was it really? No, it really wasn't. It wasn't. It really wasn't. So don't watch Hell House LLC if you were really planning on it, had your heart set on it. There's a whole bunch of other ones that would probably be a lot better, like Host, and Match was even a better movie than Hell House LLC, and it was a crappy movie in my opinion. Match. Let's see what else is happening in the world. Pretty Reckless dropped their Christmas album as of you know I guess it was dropped on midnight of Halloween Day. So there you go on that. If you are a Taylor Momsen fan and a Pretty Reckless fan, they've got their Christmas album out already. Dropped it on Halloween Day. Let's see here. In sporting news, not so much is going on in the sporting news. I mean, the Dodgers and the Mariners played, or not Mariners, the Blue Jays played last night. I don't know who won that one, and I'm pretty sure it didn't go into 18 innings like the night before the game before or whatever it was. So NBA's in full swing. Uh, Football is starting to wind down everywhere, college and in pro. We're halfway through the season in the pros, and we're just about done with. I think there's 3 games left in college, and so your TV will be winter sports and winter Olympics and X Games if they even still do X Games and all that stuff pretty soon. Let's see here. Got lots of new shirts to get if you're interested in any of those. We got a lot of artwork that we're doing. I got to get that one completely sealed in. Working on the Conjuring Man's Best Friend, an 8-page standalone book in the Conjuring universe. Looking forward to getting that one done. Let's see here. I got some colors to do for 2 commissions that are sitting right here. I've got 3 paintings already drawn up and ready to get painting on those. The 2 Ozzy Osbourne pieces, plus a magic from the Marvel Universe, who is Peter's sister, or Colossus's sister, Ilyana Rasputin. Uh, yes, they are of the Russian descent. So, uh, but that's the great thing about comic books. You get characters from all over the world, and they come together as a true team. You know, and it's just an exciting time to be alive. Whenever you can get all these teams from all over the world together, and they work in harmony with each other. You know, so that's the beauty of comic books. And if you don't like comic books, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. They're the funny books. No, they're not funny. There's very serious moments inside of comic books that take it to the next level. I mean, that's what taught me to read back in the 80s. I mean, to really read. Because with a lot of things, I had to go and look up what these words meant in conjunction with how it was being presented in the comic book, especially 163. I believe that's the cover that's sitting back there of my Uncanny X Men that I read for the first time. That a friend of mine had, since he had a subscription to the comic book world, and I was only there to read them during the summer times. And he would lend me his comic books to read, and it was one of those cool things. You know, you sit there and read those comic books, and then you give them back to him, and it's like, man, I need more. So I started getting my own because there was a little convenience store where my grandparents lived, and we would go there periodically, and I would pick up a couple different comic books here and there. And so that was the start of my journey of collecting comic books. Basically, was in the 80s. I think it was 86. So I started going there in 84 until um, basically until after high school, and then I still went there, but it was more or less, um, when I could, because I had a family going on at that point in time and all of that good stuff. So that was my journey into comic books. But my very first one was that Uncanny X Men, and that's the nostalgia of it all. You can remember every little detail when it comes down to it, with certain books and certain things that you started collecting as a kid, and it's just a walk down memory lane, because whenever people ask you why did you get into this or get into that, you can pinpoint a specific location, a specific time, and be like, on this date, this is what happened. And I was able to delve deep into that comic book, you know, or, you know, part of your life, what, why did you pick that job that you've got now? You can pinpoint a time that, and sometimes it was just a matter of, hey, it just presented itself to me, that job, and I never looked back. You know, it's just like me. I should have, like I said, should have joined the military after high school, but I was already starting a family basically, for the most part at 18, almost 19 years old at the time, and um, and it's just like one of those things that I should have done the military out of high school, but I didn't. I was 33 years old when I joined. You know, 33 years young, joining the military. Almost the cutoff for National Guard, but I was never National Guard. I was always active duty for the most part. I think there was 6 months of non-active duty status in there where I actually did the weekend drill and every month, and then I never did the 2 weekends out of the year because I was always on active duty orders whenever those time frames rolled around. And so, it's hindsight's 2020, as they always say. Actually, it actually made me perform better in reality. Um, Trying to keep up with the young kids. There was a 31-year-old and a 30-year-old that were also there with me, um, and we all performed pretty well. The 31-year-old was a Hispanic kid, and the 30-year-old was a hillbilly, uh, lanky dude, and the rest of them were in their 20s or their teens. And you know, it was like, wow. But no, I kicked butt in basic training, and it really didn't hurt that much. The hardest part was coming back from FTX on the road march, on the ruck march back from the field, and I was carrying extra weight because I was getting paid by other people to carry their sappy plates in my backpack, and I think I was carrying not only mine front and back, which makes this IBAS close to 100 pounds. And then in my rucksack, I had two or three other people's plates in my rucksack. That was the hardest part right there. Because of so much weight on that rucksack, plus what I was already carrying, made it difficult. That was my hardest test to get back from FTX, and but I made it, and and it was an exciting time, because you're done at that point in time. Yeah, you still have a few things left to do, but for the most part, it's like, why didn't I do this at a younger age as well? And but you always think about it because the only people that were recruiting me out of high school was the Marines, and I was like, no, I don't really want to stop tanks with my head. You know, that was my mentality on the military back then when I was a kid. And since my grandpa didn't tell the stories and all that good stuff about, you know, about his experiences in the military, I just didn't, I wasn't that interested, in the military at that point in time. But then, of course, 9/11 happened, and then it was just like, oh well, let's see what I can do. Let's keep my grandfather's legacy alive in the 45th Infantry, you know, since he was Korea in World War II, and it was just like, okay, well, let's do this, and that's what it was all about, was keeping his legacy alive in the 45th Infantry, you know, and it was an experience, like I said, I should have done out of high school because I probably would have retired from it in reality. Instead of joining at 33, which was basically retirement age for a lot of people that have already joined, um, when they were coming out of high school. But, I wouldn't change it because the experiences and the friends that I've made, the brothers in arms, and, you can still call anybody that joins the military your brother in arms, you know, brother or sister in arms. And, not a lot of people can say that they wanted to join the military. Some of them were jail or military. You know, me, I joined willingly. I had no problems with it. Yeah, it was a little bit more difficult because I had, you know, two kids already and uh, a third one, on the way and all that goody good stuff. Or did I have all three of them at that point in time? No, all three of them were around already because it was 2004, 2005. 2004 is when I signed the documents. 2005 is when I went to basic training. So all three kids were around at that point in time. and so that was the hardest part, leaving your family behind whenever you had them close to you the whole time, and then going off to basic training for 3 months, and then getting to see your then wife at the time for right at graduation, and then you still had X amount of days left before you actually went home after graduation. So, and then 9 days after that, you're gone for a month in Katrina, and then less than 6 months later, you're off to Afghanistan after a 3 month train up in Camp Helby, Mississippi, Camp Shelby, and then a 2 month train up when you get back in Louisiana. So a 17-month deployment, and then you are put in for a trainer position on a new training program that's kicking off, and so for the rest of my career, I was active duty. You know, I like I said, I saw maybe 6 months time where I was just doing the drill thing every weekend, every month. But for the 6 years, and you've got 6 months that were total drill time, the actual National Guard instead of the active duty, you know, there you go. I mean, for 6 years, and only 6 months of that 6 years was I doing the whole one weekend a month weekend warrior thing, you know. But it was fun. It was cool, and I recommend if you're gonna do it out of high school. Get it, get it taken care of. You know, don't wait until the cutoff point in whatever uh, military branch you're trying to get into. Uh, and everybody in the military makes fun of different branches of the military. But to me, it's military is military. You signed the dotted line for to fight for your country, to be in there, and you know, kudos to you, because a lot of people won't take that initiative and won't take that step to be a part of the military. You know, because they ain't got the cojones to do it. You know what I'm saying? But then there's physical limitations that people that wanted to and they tried to. And so kudos to those as well. And I'm not knocking anybody that never tried to get into the military, trust me. Because the military isn't for everybody. 100%. Just like the one kid that wanted to put himself or said he wanted to put himself below dirt, and we had to, take his belt, take his shoestrings, take anything that he could, potentially harm himself with while we were at basic training, and basically give him the bright orange vest, saying, "Hey, I'm on Shmuicide watch," you know, because of some words that I said, and not me, but the kid. He was a 20 or 21-year-old kid, you know, and so he ended up getting recycled and then ended up crying like a baby in basic training because he went back to like week 2 and thought he was going to be back at week like 12 or 13, which is almost graduation time, going to the field, FTX, and all that stuff. So, but yeah, that's that, If you're going to join the military and you want to join the military, do it at a younger age. Don't wait. That's all I'm saying. So there you go. We do have a lot of shirts coming out. Once I get these Aussie paintings done, shirts will be made available for the Aussie paintings. Plus, the original painting will be available. They are big 16 by 20 uh, paintings. And if you want those now, just let me know. If you haven't seen them, they are available for looky loos out there. And I have them right here, actually. This is the first one that I penciled in right there. The praying hands version. And then the other one, looking like this, which is going to have his big tattoo right here. Oops, right here. Right there. And it's going to be in the same vein as my Chester Bennington here. And I'll pull that one up really fast. It's going to look a little similar to this one. Right there, right there. And these t-shirts are available if you would like to order them now. Like I said, once I get back into the swing of comic book conventions and things of that nature, the t-shirts will not be available at the shows. Just because I don't want that overhead. They will be available on an order form for you. Because I don't want to carry that many t-shirts around, if that makes any sense. The prints are fine to carry around, including the canvas prints, 11 by 17 prints, which there will be a limited stock per convention side, because you don't know what's going to sell. And I'm wanting to pare down what I'm selling, whereas before, I used to print out every stinking thing that I drew, no matter what it was. And you might sell one every third convention, and that's not very good. Especially to have that kind of stock running around and it just sit there. I'm pretty sure I've still got some either 11 by 17 or 13 by 19 sitting in there right now that never sold, from all the conventions that I went to. And, it's like, well, why do I even bother having them? You get a very compelling list of what sells. Like everything that's up here that you guys can't see, but up here on Facebook and what will be on my page, my business page, and on YouTube later on this video. Excuse me. Everything up there sold, which is Jeepers Creepers, both Hellraisers, Art the Clown, David from Lost Boys, Freddy Krueger, and this Joker right here. This is the actual original painting of the Joker that I did. And this one has been my best seller in t-shirts, 100%. The prints of this one have sold, even though this is a newer piece. Prior to the end of last year, and it did sell. It did well, Welcome to the show there, Queen Roy. We dub thy queen of showing up late. Now that we're already 50 minutes into the show and you're finally showing up. But welcome, buddy. What's up? I see the Grizzlies beat your Lackers last night in a resounding way, which was pretty awesome for them. And I'm glad your team is doing super well, though, Oklahoma City Thunder, though, 100%. Congratulations on their Super Bowl winning season so far. And, I'm glad you are a big fan of the Oklahoma City Thunder. But welcome to the broadcast booth, finally. But recap so far, Freddie got his star on the Walk of Fame, Mr. Robert Englund. Great all-around actor. Just heard a spooky sound over here in my wall, which no animal can get in between my wall because it is basically not a very great wall by any means. It's not the Great Wall of China. It is very thin coated when it comes down to that notion. We've talked about military career. We've talked about getting into the comic book realm, how I started. Let's see here. Just all kinds of stuff that we've talked about so far. You missed Frankenpig. I'm so sorry for that. Very, very cute little guy. Very noisy little guy. But yeah, did anything spooky happen to you, Mr. Roy Joe Bradley? Did you eat all the candy that you got for the kids? Did you have trick or treaters in your neighborhood? Because it's an apartment complex. You should have had trick or treaters in your neighborhood. Did you turn your porch light off? That's the main thing. Did you turn your porch light off? I do want to see which autograph cards I ended up getting in this one this time. I did pick up a new card pack or a couple card boxes, and I want to see which autograph cards I got. So this is the Sage Artistry Cards 2025. And we got a Robert Lewis and a Nick Nash, two wide receivers, one out of San Jose State and one out of Auburn. Probably one of those went to the NFL. Robert Lewis, if I had to guess. Then there's a canvas card of Jahdae Brown, a cornerback, and another canvas card for Tawee Walker, a running back. I've heard that name. Tawee Walker. I don't know where he went. But he was out of Wisconsin. And the other one is out of Texas. So Jahdae Barron probably is in the NFL, if I had to guess. And then the other one, right here. I slept all day. Got up around 10. What the hell? 10 p.m.? Good God, dude. This is what you call wasting your life. Tez Johnson, a wide receiver out of Oregon. Another canvas card. The other canvas card is Cade Klubnik. He's a quarterback, never heard of him. And then we got two autograph cards for Landon Ruggieri, a wide receiver, and Kenneth Womack, a wide receiver. One is out of Bryant, and one is out of Western Michigan. Kenneth Womack. That name sounds familiar. But and the cool thing is, these cards are actually very cool, but a lot of people hate them for whatever reason. You know, they're very cool. They're very artistic when it comes down to it. Oh, there is another card that I want to pull that I want to look at here too. So those are cool and all, but this one, I'm gonna figure out where it is. The weird thing about these is they come in clear plastic whenever you open up the box. So where is your cool kid? There it is. All right, so we're gonna get into this one. Pull all those right there. R.J. Harvey, he is a running back out there. I think he kicked our arse from the Broncos the other day. I got a nice little Ricky Barber defensive tackle. This is a out of Central Florida. This is a swatch card. So that's got a piece of his game worn jersey inside of it right there. So you get some super cool stuff out of these packs. And this is the Sage Artistry Edition right here. 2025. So this is all the people that went in the 2025 draft in April. So you got all that. But I mean, they just have some cool cards in retrospect, as opposed to some of these other card sets that you get. You know, Jaden Daniels. Where's that name? Mr. Jaden Daniels. Who does he play for? Washington Commanders. So that was basically his rookie card right there, one of. I'm just looking through here to see, because you got two different. You got a silver card, Josh Kelly, wide receiver. But what I'm saying is that you've got two different color cards here for the same character. You know, you got that silver and you got the red. You know, right there. So you get variant cards, is what I'm saying. You can get you some variant cards right there if you really want to. But I just like they're very cool cards. Plus, you're guaranteed an autograph, and you know you're gonna have to get with the times, Roy. It's the Commanders now. I'm so sorry. They are not the Redskins anymore because too many people were up in arms about an Indian face. Um, and being called the Redskins because it was derogatory to the native culture. So you're gonna have to get with the times and call them the Commanders, just like everybody else has. And you're gonna have to grow up a little bit on that note. I'm not seeing any more specialty cards in there, but there could be. Because I don't know what they've changed up as far as what they've done. I've bought these before. It's probably been about 3 or 4 years since I bought any of the artistry side of these. But right there, you get to see some cool stuff. I mean, there's some Dylan Gabriels in there, all that good stuff in there. But you get all kinds of cool stuff in there. But yeah, there's that note. And but yeah, there's that rookie card. He's on fire. He was on fire last year. Whenever he came on the scene and nearly took him to the Super Bowl, all that good stuff. I'm just reading down here. Yeah, they're talking about him going in the 2024 draft, second overall quarterback picked in the NFL draft. So there you go. So that would not be his rookie card. So let me correct that before anybody comes on my live and says, "No, this not his rookie card. He was already drafted last year in 2024. 2024, he was drafted." So anybody looking forward to Spaceballs 2? Mel Brooks being 98 years old, coming back and doing his role as Yogurt. I believe that's who he played. I could be wrong. But he's coming out of, mothballs at 98 years old and reprising his role, all gold skinned up and all that good stuff. I think it'll be fun, but again, but Rick Moranis is the key there, coming completely out of retirement because he stopped acting to take care of his family after his wife passed away, and so he stopped doing movies altogether, and now he's come back, and Mel Brooks, the creator of such great hits as Blazing Saddles and Spaceballs and so many other ones out there. 98 years old, yes. Coming back. I mean, he's still been directing and things like that, movies over the years, but he's reprising his role in Spaceballs 2. And, but like I said, Rick Moranis coming out of retirement basically because he stopped acting so many years ago and to take care of his family after his wife passed away, like I said, and now he's coming back to play in this role of Dark Helmet, uh, which is the Darth Vader role, if you will. So I'm looking forward to that. It, I think it's kind of like the X Files. It's 10 years too late, but it's been quite a few years since Spaceballs was made. Because I'm wanting to say that was in the '80s when Spaceballs was made, and now we're X amount of years later, 2025, and it won't be available until like 2026, 2027, somewhere in that range, um, because filming has started. But I think it's a cool thing that they got um, Rick Moranis to come out of mothballs and reprise his role as the Dark Helmet in Spaceballs 2. And John Candy's son is playing a role. Um, Barf was his role, John Candy's, and so his son is portraying a version of what John Candy was, the dog character in the movie, just a under a different moniker, but in the same vein as his father, uh, to carry on that legacy of having that character in there. So it should be pretty interesting to see. Um, 100%. I know a lot of people don't like Spaceballs because it was so controversial. Just like Blazing Saddles. You want cancel culture? Those two movies would be under it. If you've never seen Blazing Saddles or Spaceballs, go check them out. Great comedy. It's over the top. There's a lot of crude humor in both of them. A lot of stuff that wouldn't pass the mustard in today's society. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, no. No, we're behind by about 4,000 and some odd. Because we're at 34.4 is where we are. But we are in a popular live section of it all. I want to look at this one too. Sorry. I'm going to do a little break on this one too and see what's all about in here. See if there's any cool names in here, some cool kids. Besides R.J. Harvey, who I'm pretty sure plays for the Broncos. C.J. Quinn, Dylan, C.J. Quinn, Woody, Xavier, Will Howard, Ja'Cory Brooks, and Cam Ward. Cam Ward, right there. I'm pretty sure he's on the backup reserve list. I don't think he's actually a starter out there. But no, we're sitting at 34.4, and I still see the likes coming through, but it's not tallying up anymore. So I don't know what's going on or why it has stalled out the way it has. Um, but I do appreciate the likes. That's always fun and dandy. There's Mr. Dylan Gabriel, who jumped ship and went to Oregon. Jackass. Throw you over there since you were an OU player at one point. Oh, there's a good Phil Maffa card, Roy. Right there. Boom, boom, boom. Phil Maffa, who we haven't heard hide nor hair from. Don't know what's going on with him. So there's that. Um, and we're up to 34.5 right now. So again, I appreciate the likes, the love coming out because I mean that helps us get in that popular realm. And not that we want to be like the cool kids, but you know, we do want to be relevant out there. The third style. So we've got three different ones for Jaden. Basically red, white, and blue, if you will. Red, silver, and blue. So that's the joys of here. You get all these different ones, and let me pull this across so that they know that we're still active right there. So you're getting three different ones out of here. Red, white, and blue, basically. Let's see here. See, I don't know why it's not tallying up everything because we're at 35.5 now. Um, and I know you like to keep up with that and know what's going out, but TikTok always has its own little agenda. You know, it's like, no, we can't have all those going for you. We'll keep it close to the cuff, and you get what you get right there. And we'll throw you a little bone, here and there. Now we're just gonna open up all these. I'm not finding any really cool ones in here. When it's coming down to it, no real names that I recognize. Theo Weiss, he used to play for OU, and a lot of these quarterbacks and stuff didn't make it in the grade. And like I said, you got Cam Ward, of course, and Jaden Daniels, who are the two, standouts over here. Can't say that much of anybody else was really a standout or even is starting. There's Ashton Jantney, who's not doing that great as they thought he was going to do. Lenoris Sellers, that's a name I recognize. So I think he's doing decent out there. I think he's started for somebody. Lenoris Sellers. Yep, I got these at Wally World. It's just these are the cheaper ones. These are the ones that you can afford. I mean, technically, I could afford the really expensive ones, but I don't want to because um, the thing is, cards are becoming stupidly priced when it comes down to it. Um, like this is a $20 box. That's still overpriced in my opinion, but it's better than a $50 box of the same size. You know, and you're getting how many cards in here? I'm trying to figure out how many come in each pack or in each piece. Through one to the floor. You're getting like 10 per pack in here, so you're getting like close to 60 cards. Plus, you're getting two autographs per card or per box. Plus the, like I said, the this card, which is in and of itself pretty cool, a swatch card. So that's the first one I pulled out of there, but I don't know if this is the first year they've started doing this or game worn jersey card, you know. So you get some cool stuff in here, and I like the cards relatively better than I like some of the other ones, even over Score and Panini and Tops and things like that. So it's to each their own, and I know a lot of people don't like these cards for whatever reason, but Sage has come on as a very reputable company with cards. They do a great job with them, and it's one of those things that people like what they like, and they go after those big name card companies, and those are the ones that used to get shoplifted a lot. So for whatever reason, other than the price and wanting that high dollar card that you can find in there, because you can find in some of the popular sets and those $50 to $80 boxes that you can buy. You can find, you know, $1,000 card in there, you know, and that's why they're getting wiped out. It's just like when Pokemon cards come out, new sets and things like that. People will come into the store and pick up every set that walks through the door that's brand new, because there's that chance of that, you know, $2,000 $3,000 Charizard card inside of it. Not guaranteed, but you buy them all, you're guaranteed to get at least one out of the whole set. So it's just ridiculous, the price of some cards over others, just because of the popularity of the brand. Um, Sage again is not one of those. I mean, there are some decent price cards, you know, in the Sage set, but again, not a lot of people like them, and so they just sit on the shelf. But you can go in there, grab it up, like their last year's box, which they'll get into it this year in 2025 as well, probably by the end of the year. For the 2026 season, they'll start doing the 3 cards per box with autographs, three autographs per box, and so on and so forth. So if you're into that stuff, what's up, man? Blonde Bombers, how's it going out there? Welcome to the broadcast booth. Did your spooky season go well? Did everything? Did your spells come true? But welcome to the booth. I'm glad you're here. Good to see your bright, shiny face this morning. Good, good. That's awesome. I've known this person for quite some time, and she's a cool person out there. Another one of them cool peoples. She likes to decorate up for Halloween and stuff. You haven't been to sleep? Then that means it's even brighter. But no, she does a lot of cool stuff when it comes to decorating her house around the holiday seasons. So if you haven't seen any of her stuff, check it out. I'm pretty sure she's got some stuff posted on her page right now. Here on the Ticker Talker side of life. But no, I didn't do any spells this year. Although I could, you know. So I have that knowledge. But I do live in a haunted house, so that's good enough. That always makes the spooky season even that much more. Even though I fell asleep, you know, watching, like I said, Hell House LLC Legacy, which was a very slow burn and not worth the watch. So if you're wanting to watch some more horror movies before, you know, all the Christmas stuff kicks in, um, do not watch that one. We should have watched Host instead, but we did not. We decided on Hell House LLC. The other ones in that series were decent. I'm not a big fan of the lost film footage per se, um, but a lot of people love those movies like Blair Witch and so on and so forth down the line. Um, I was never a fan of Blair Witch. Sorry, just it wasn't. It was a stupid movie all the way around. 42.8. 42.8 thousand likes, which is awesome. Puts us in that popular kid ranking for a popular live. So that's very awesome. But no, I do appreciate everybody being here. You guys are great. You are what make the show, because we banter back and forth. Um, we get commentary from all sides of the world. Uh, Kara, have you witnessed anything spectacular? No, we're not in the short bus. I was never in the short bus because I always walked to school. Because in any of my school years, it was either side of the school where I lived, and so I got to walk to school. I was within a block of the school, you know, the whole time I was in school. But Karen, have you witnessed anything paranormal? out there in your life here recently? Have you conjured up anything? We want to know. We seriously want to know. Because I know you like to dabble. Sorry, I got to put my hand over here. Sweet. I need to see that footage. Send it to me. That's pretty cool. She caught something on weird on her ring, actually. That's pretty awesome. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. But no, we don't capture stuff here all the time. We see it more than we capture it because unfortunately, even though I've got Night Owl set up all through the house and outside and stuff like that, it doesn't continuously record everything like it's supposed to. When we know that there is actual movement happening, it doesn't record it all the time. And it's just like, well, we know something's just like I was going to pull up the video for all the raccoons that were outside over here fighting over the food dish and all that stuff. It didn't record a single piece of that, you know. It was a figure walking up our walkway. Then it flew off. I swear. Awesome. That's pretty freaking cool. I love that. You might not love it, but I love it. The more paranormal, the better. See, that's the cool stuff. You know, that's why I do what I do when it comes to starting up on the paranormal investigation journey. I do not love it. I do. No, love it. Okay, cool. But but no, that's the type of stuff that you want to capture. Is those situations, you know? Come investigate my house. We can do that. We can come investigate your house. I'm hopefully getting some equipment coming in pretty soon. There's whispers at night in one room. Awesome. See, that's why I keep this right here in this office because this is where I get most of my EVPs right here. And you know, so just like you, I live in a haunted house too, and so that makes it even better. You know, and I know a lot of people don't like the thought of living in a haunted house because they don't. They're just not cool with it. Me, I'm cool with it. I love it. You know, it's just one of those things that I can't get enough of it in reality, if you will. Um, just because it's fun. I mean, it's super fun in reality. Uh, because you never know what's going to happen next. Um, just like that creak that happened over here, sounded like two boards rubbing together. That shouldn't happen over here because never in the entire nearly 4 years of living here has that ever creaked like that before. You know, it was the first time we were on like 5 minutes into the show talking about spooky stuff, and the boards creaked over here like somebody was walking on them. You know, no, sure don't, because they wouldn't be saying that in my house. The only spirited one was you, all drunk and stuff. That would be the only way that that would happen. Uh, because the spirits here know better. They know we don't root for no funny team that you know plays with each other on the hardwood. And Roy, you know what I'm talking about. I'll pull up the headline. I'll put it as my green screen background just for you to show what your team is really about. I don't think you want to go there today. I really, really don't. No, it's definitely true. It's big headlines out there all the way around. But if you want me to, I can do it. I will. I will. I will prove the point. So, but no, it's fun. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't cool with living in haunted spaces with, you know, keeping up with the Joneses, if you will, uh, because it could be Jones, it could be a, this name could be that name. You never know. But we've made contact with ours using dowsing rods, and I know a lot of people don't like the dowsing rods and things like that. But they can be used for pretty cool purposes, not just for finding water. So, um, just basically you're asking yes and no questions, and with your dowsing rods, and you go from there. It's just like using the Ouija board. You don't want to take your fingers off the planchette. You don't want to, no matter what happens. Whenever you start your session, we own several, and yes, we played with a Ouija board several times. Um, and you always want to tell it goodbye at the end of your session because if you don't, you're leaving the portal open, for whatever to come through. Um, we've got many a tarot decks. In fact, Freddy Krueger's sitting on the world's smallest tarot deck for the most part. And I've got two. I've got three. I've got one right here, and then I've got two more in the front room where we have the haunted doll, basically that I'm painting on. Um, yes, and the funny thing is with the Ouija board, it's not funny. I guess I can't say it's funny, but it's marketed for 8+. So if you want to take your child into the world of the occult at the young age of 8, you can get them started then. And some people actually get their child started earlier than that. Um, teaching them the ways of, and I can't really say it's an occult type of a thing, but it's what they consider occult. Um, witchcraft and this worship and that worship and whatever. I mean, people call church an occult too. So um, because basically their ways were formed and fashioned off of pagan religions and things like that as the years went by. So, you know, and it's to each their own. You got your believers, your non-believers, you've got, so on and so forth. So, and I mean, Five Below sells Ouija boards. That's where we picked up one, a cute little purple pinkish one. But we also have some other ones as well here at the house. But yes, we have dabbled in the Ouija board side of things. I want to do the continuous everlasting mirror as well, where you got two mirrors facing each other, and it just creates an everlasting portal between the two. And that they say you can see some really cool stuff in the dark with that. Anybody played Bloody Mary? Where you go into the bathroom or the closet in the pitch black and you say Bloody Mary, X amount of times, and so a lot of people try to avoid stuff like that. I encourage it. It's just like whenever you watch Candyman, you say Candyman, 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 Candyman in the mirror. I'm kind of looking in a mirror surface right here, and then he appears because all the lights go out and everything goes crazy, you know. But yeah, no, it's spooktacular season is awesome. Yes, mirror gazing with candles. Yes, 100%. And you can see some of the coolest stuff if you actually just open that realm of existence in there, because it's available to you if you open your mind. And it's just like anything else. Um, if you open your mind to certain situations and certain things, you're going to be able to see more. Open up your third eye. Those type things. And a lot of people don't believe in that. A lot of people don't believe in anything that is on the other side. There's no ghost. There's no this. There's no that. Well, then why have so many people seen it? Why have so many people actually caught physical evidence of these paranormal activities? Why have so many people, you know, because you got so many of your skeptics out there. Well, it's obviously on a string. Obviously, someone's shutting the door that you can't see because of the angle that they've got. Even if someone has both sides of an object covered, by cameras, there's still a string there somewhere. There's still somebody off camera that caused that door to do that, or it's on an electronic thing where they're using a remote control to slam a door or open cabinets or whatever. And you got so many skeptics out there that can't believe, in anything that there's something on the other side, you know. And it's just crazy to me to believe that there isn't something on the other side. That there isn't another realm between us and wherever you're going to spend eternity, you know. Yes, unless it happens to them. But then they're still trying to rationalize it away. Well, it's not really what I saw. I think what I really saw was, this, that, or the other. And it's just like, well, you can try and rationalize it out as much as possible. But, dude, you had a paranormal experience. And you just don't want to believe it, you know. And a lot of people don't talk about it. They don't talk about their experiences that they have. And because they don't want to sound like they're crazy or a kook or, whatever. And me, let's talk about it. I've seen demons. I've seen full body apparitions. I've seen, the shadow creatures. I've seen stuff thrown across the room. I've seen, stuff that defy logic here in my own house and growing up. I've seen UFOs. I've seen Bigfoot. You know, I know what I've seen. And for people to try and rationalize it away and be like, no, you didn't really see what you thought you saw, and yada, yada, yada. It's like, dude, you weren't there. Bottom line. Yeah, I didn't have video rolling. Yeah, I didn't have this going. But I know what I saw. And that's where no, you're just crazy. You're just a kook. All that good stuff. And it's just like, no, I'm really not. I'm pretty educated person, pretty educated person. And, you know, there are things that I try to rationalize. Some of the bumps and sounds I can get away with as far as rodents in the attic, raccoons, possums, things like that, even our cats. But for 90% of the stuff that happens here, there is no explanation for it other than the paranormal side. You know, because action figures. Let me just demonstrate. Do I have any action figures real close? I do not have. Well, I kind of do. Okay. So, let's say I take. Come here, guys. Let's say I take these two action figures. You see these little hanger shells right here? These little pieces right here? So, the girlfriend has several on the dresser that are back to back or like this with each other, whatever. Okay? Well, there's another one sitting on top. Okay? So, you've got two that are, say they're back to back like this. Okay? Let me grab this third one real fast. Hold on. I technically don't need those on, but. All right, so you've got them sitting here, back to back like such, or sitting on top of each other like this. Okay? And they're sitting there all nice and neat. Now, if this one topples off, that's what's going to happen, right? No. In our house, we get stuff like this. Where this hanger piece goes in between the other hanger pieces. And it's just like, that's not logical. There's no way that should happen. Again, you saw what happened. It falls forward and down. It does not go, whoop. Let me just hang it around like this. But this is what happens in our house. Now, we do get stuff that flies off the shelf in the hallway right here, just to my right, because I have a hallway before I come into the office. And with that, I've got figures that fly off the shelf, and it shouldn't because they don't move. I've bounced on the floor, I've jumped up and down on the floor and stuff like that, and the shelves do not move. No action figures move on the shelves because of the way I've got it built. And I'll have figures that fly off the shelf and land, right side up. Most of the time, when something falls off the shelf, it's going to land on its face, on its side. It very rarely will land on its bottom. and just sit there like it's supposed to, you know. And I found multiple figures that have fallen off the shelf that should not have fallen off the shelf for any reason whatsoever. So that's the poltergeist activity that we get here. Part of the poltergeist activity that we get here, you know. So, but that's the cool stuff about living in a haunted house is because you can experience all kinds of different things, you know, and it doesn't have to be during the spooky season. You know, it happens all year round. So it's spooky season all year round, and and so and it can give you chills. You know, there's some occasions where the hair stands up on the back of my neck, or I'll get goosebumps. You know, and it's like, okay, what's getting ready to happen? There's no lightning outside, so I know I'm not gonna. I know I'm not about to get struck by lightning. You know, um, but about that point in time, you'll hear a noise in the darkness, or you'll hear, you know, something move, or things like that. And it's just like, oh, okay, so you were warning me that something was getting ready to happen because I felt the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I felt the goosebumps happen, you know, and it's just like as you see Spider Man's arm, you know, as the goosebumps happen and the hair stand up and all that stuff. You know, that's the chills you get as you are about to experience something paranormal, at least here in the house, here whenever I'm around. And so again, like I said, I'm hoping we get all this equipment in that we're talking about getting, so that we can start giving some things a try. I definitely want to hit this hotel or whatever that was bought by some friends. Uh, her aunt and uncle have a I got colorization to do here. I've got to seal that in epoxy so that it will not fade over time since it will be outside. Um, all kinds of cool stuff is happening around here, and I'm looking forward to it just because it's fun. You know, all the stuff that's happening, all the stuff that is presenting itself, all of the new opportunities, potentially new sponsorships. So, and if you want to be a sponsor to help us go to more comic book conventions, let us know. You know, we do have one sponsor that is looking to help us out, and then we've also got a potential another one, but he's kind of changed tunes so far. I'm not sure what all is getting ready to happen on that note. Uh, he was one of the first ones that talked about doing a sponsorship where I was under his moniker, and we went from there. I'm potentially going to be a co-host as well on two different podcasts. Um, one here locally, and then one abroad. He's in the Pennsylvania area. The one that was wanting to do sponsorship with me as well. He's got a comic book live that he's wanting me to be a co-host on. I've got a buddy here in town that wants me to be a co-host on a horror panel podcast. And then I've also got the voice acting stuff happening. I just got the script for it just the other day. I've got to go start reading on it to see, you know, if there's any changes that need to be made or help them with some changes and things like that. So a lot of stuff is moving and a lot of parts are happening that are, um, you know, pushing my career into a deeper realm. So not just where you're seeing me here, but you're going to start seeing me in a lot of other places as well. So that's fun and exciting all in and of itself. Just because, why not, man? I mean, get your name out there, get your face out there a little bit more. Even though people are like, "Oh, your face is good for radio." Like, I don't give a fuck, dude. And your mom should have done some other things, you know, with you. But anyway, but I hope you guys had a great Halloween, a great October as we are into November now. It is November 1st. It is 11/1. We only have one more month after this month, you know? And yes, Mr. Casey, we are at 56.7 thousand likes right now, putting us in a high daily ranking and the popular live, which is awesome, awesome, awesome sauce. So, but there you have it. That is today's show in a nutshell. We talked about all kinds of stuff from Freddy Krueger, Mr. Freddy Krueger right here, getting his star on the Walk of Fame, giving his concession speech for it all, thanking the many people, excuse me, thanking the many people that helped him get to where he was as an actor, paying his rent for him, all that good stuff, and how he grew in the ranks of stardom with A Nightmare on Elm Street, as well as a bunch of other things. And yes, Mr. Casey. We are killing it for now, folks. We appreciate everybody being here, checking out the channel. And Roy, you have a great time as well. And we will see you later. And as we like to say as we leave you, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.